Welcome to the home screen of the Rockford Express. We're going to float to the left side of the screen, this Actions tile, and choose New Quote. We're in the tab Product Selection, and we'll begin that selection with a selection of effective date, coverage state, and of course our carrier is Rockford Mutual Insurance Company. We'll continue on to the product selection list, and in this case we'll choose Business Owners. Once we do that, you'll see we're now in a quote, and we have the first two chevrons of several that will be created, policy and location. We still have our action tile, and then beneath that we have a quote summary that gives us a quote number, an effective date, a product type, and so far we have no quoted premium. Our policy general tile will give us our effective date and term, producer code, and then we'll enter in the annual gross sales. Following that, we'll view our disclosure and confirm that we've read it. Our IntelliScore is still pending, so we'll move to insured information. In this case, we'll select an individual entity and then enter in the necessary information. I'll click into the name field to generate a name for search, and then I'm going to move down to enter as much of the mailing address as I happen to know. Once I've done that, I'll choose this icon to verify my address. It will not only fill in the complete street address, but it will also generate a complete zip code. We have primary phone, secondary phone, email, fax, and then our preference here will be batch. Once this is entered, I'll choose to save. And once we do, you can see the system is flagging us with several issues. These issues are actually pieces of information that will be addressed as we step through the remainder of our chevrons. We have the option to use these links to go in to fix the problems, but for today we'll continue on with our process. I'll click the location chevron. We'll come in. The first location detail offers the address. If the location address matches the mailing address, this tile can be left as is. If the location has its own address, this is where that information will be changed. We'll come down to the location detail and enter our information on hydrants, fire stations, and deductibles. And then we'll choose to save. You can see already several of our issues have disappeared, and from here we'll go forward into our property chevron. Alright, our business category today will be offices, and this will be the office of a CPA. We'll enter in some building detail now. Property coverage requested. Contents coverage, and then our protection information, fire alarms, burglar alarms, sprinklers, building updates, when the building may have received attention since being built, and then we have a property coverage list that allows you to select several other options. Today we'll move to money and securities, and choose to add on and off premises coverage for $5,000. And save. Alright, we only have one issue left, and it will be handled in this property line chevron. We're going to choose no blanket coverage, reject terrorism coverage, and then come to the left to save. Our liability chevron will give us our liability coverages, exposure list, and additional coverages on liability. And here we'll save. Our next chevron is for loss history. Now initially this section will be blank. If you'd like to add a prior loss, you can come over here to Actions and click in. We'll give you all the information for loss date, cause of loss, carrier information. If you choose not to enter a prior loss, we would just float back up here to the top right and return. Our next chevron is additional interests. In the same way this item would initially be blank, you would come to the left into Actions to add an additional interest. And in this case, I'll go up and use our search feature and choose Sam Jones. Sam is going to be our first mortgagee, and of course his interest is in Building 1. And we'll save. We've now moved into a portion of the chevron called Review. We'll come in and choose to select a payment plan for mortgagee bill full pay. We'll send that all over to Sam. You'll see it's given us a payment schedule and we have a rate confirmation. And we'll save. Our next tab is Premium Info. This will give you a breakdown of the premium by line. And we can save through that item. And our last chevron is for worksheets. And once you've accessed that, again, you can come to the left and save. Since we've completed our chevrons, we can now move down to creating an application. When we create that application, a few things will happen. First of all, at the left, when we float to the bottom, our summary now reads Application Summary and has an application number, and you can see we do have an in-force premium. Then up at the top, we're being given a message that we have a few errors. In this case, we can use our blue links to fix these items. They're questions that have been generated based on the information that we've already put into our quote. So we'll click into our first one and go back to the building information, scroll down to these red items. We're not running a collection agency, we're not running a bank, and we'll come down and save. And then our next fix will bring us to a list of underwriting questions. We'll run through and handle these. And again, we'll save. Now that we know we've completed the additional information that was requested, we can add in a finalized transaction request. When this processes, you'll see that again, we're being given a list of issues. These issues are different than the ones we've encountered before, and one way we can see that is there is no opportunity to link in and fix the information. We can't fix these issues, they have to be addressed by an underwriter. So we'll come down, confirm that we haven't collected a payment yet, and then submit for approval. And this brings us back to the home screen where we began. Now, if we'd like to take a look at the quote we've just entered, we can come up here to our recent list, and you'll see we have pending approval for Bob Jones. His application can be found here. When we try to access it, the system will let us know this application is currently owned by the underwriter who's reviewing it. We can still take an inquiry and click into Application and view what we've done. In the meantime, we'll be waiting for approval from the underwriter, and our next video will show what we can do when we receive that back to issue new business.